exercise is the way you can make friends with your body. It sounds like brutal because it's not pleasant all the time, but it's a way to develop a relationship. Great relationships are not easy. Any of them.
Hi there, and welcome back to the Push Pause to Heal podcast. I am your host, Dr. Emily Rodersheimer, and today I have a very special guest, Miss Carly Fauth, who is, I'm going to give you her bio here in just a second, but the one thing I know about our conversation today is that we're going to have a whole lot of fun. Carly and I have become friends after I was on her podcast, and I know we're going to have a whole lot of fun. But let me tell you about Carly real quick here. She is a fitness instructor, fitness mentor, cancer exercise specialist, and breast cancer survivor dedicated to helping people build strength, resilience, and confidence through movement that fits their real life. That's important. With over 15 years of experience in the fitness industry, she's made it her mission to show that fitness isn't just about exercise. It's about empowerment, healing, and joy. I love that. She created Fit in Fitness on the belief that everyone deserves movement that works with their busy lives, not against it. And as a cancer exercise specialist, Carly provides safe and effective fitness programs for cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers, helping them stay active through treatment and beyond, proving that even 15 minutes a day can make a transformative difference. So Carly, let's jump right in. I am so excited. We're going to have so much fun here. And why don't you start off telling us, how did you come to love fitness so much?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for having me. And I'm glad I took my blanket. I'm wearing a scarf. It's so cold here.
Yeah.
I was like, I look like I'm like in a blanket. So now I have my scarf on. So
okay, perfect.
Now I feel ready to go.
Okay.
So I was thinking about this a lot this week. I think I first got connected to fitness because my dad was a runner. And so in second grade, I remember he would run every day. And one day I decided just to put on these pair of sneakers that I had that I think were hand-me-downs, and they were like 3 sizes too big, and they were running sneakers.
Okay.
And I went for a run around the block. And when I came back, I thought I felt so good. And so I thought to myself, I can see why my dad does this. So that is the beginning of this kind of, I think that is the reason why I've been able to remain consistent my entire life, because I did have parents who set a really great example. Sure. And I would to practice that at a really early age and kind of develop this attachment to what I was getting from the exercise, not only from the physical benefits, but from the mental benefits as well. And that stayed with me, and it became so powerful. So even when fitness was not my main job, after college, I did what I thought I was supposed to do, and I got a job in advertising and book publishing, and I did all the things. And then fitness was always in the back of my mind. And then I decided to say, you know what, I think this is my path. And I'm really glad that it became my path, because it's my passion. That's
perfect. When your passion and your career overlap, there's nothing better. Yes. Nothing better.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I love that. And I think, you're clearly going to model that to your children's, who I think will also be, and I know your son is a soccer star. Both of your boys are very active. So yes. Yeah. I think that's lovely. So if we are talking, well, actually, let me back up a minute. The thing that I was just astounded by when I was introduced to you and looked at your website and looked at your podcast, that you started your podcast in a very interesting way. Can you tell my listeners about that?
So I had always wanted to start a podcast, but I was like, how do you do that? Like, I don't even know where to begin. So I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and anybody who's been on a cancer journey knows it takes a while to get your steps in place. I had surgery first, and then it just happened to be the week before I was going in for chemo that my friend had started a podcast. And she invited me over to interview me, and I saw her, all she had was a cell phone and 2 mini microphones. So I had this aha moment, because I was very nervous about going to chemo, but I really didn't want to tell anybody because it's just not my style. So I thought, what if I did a podcast from my chemo chair to kind of let people in on the chemo experience, because I didn't know anything about it. And people don't really talk about like the ins and the outs and what's going to happen. I had absolutely no idea. So I thought to myself, what a great way for me to let people in And it'll also give me something to focus on to maybe try to take my fear away from myself. So I marched into Dana-Farber in Milford, and the first day of chemo, they're like, "Who is this girl?" And I had my phone and too many microphones, and my chemo nurse came in, and I was like, "Okay, so like you do your thing, and like when I'm going to do a podcast from my chair," and she was like, "You're what?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to use video. I'm just going to do audio recordings. I know about the privacy stuff, but I am going to do it." I didn't ask. I said, I am going to do it. And then I did. And I think there was a little bit behind the scenes, like, is this allowed? What's she doing? Is this girl going to make our life miserable for the next, I don't know, unforeseeable future? But I thought to myself, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show them what a great idea it is.
That's awesome. So
they can't shut me down. So I did. And then they ended up, the news came to do a report on it.
Oh, that's great.
Like it became my thing. I had a little on-air sign. So the point of the podcast was, yes, it was making me feel like chemo had a purpose, but I had all these people that wanted to come to chemo with me some of them were like very good friends, but some of them were just like solid friends who had the interest and asked if they could come. And I liked them and admired them so much that I said yes. So I thought, all of the people that were put here for me have taught me something that is helping me get through this situation. So why don't I interview them and I give them the floor I'll ask them questions, but I can highlight what the great things about them are so that they can talk about themselves and people can learn about all these great people that are in my life. So it was like, It was such and everyone was nervous. Nobody wanted to be on my podcast, but every single person did such a great job that I go back and I listen to them. They're raw. They're not edited.
Yeah.
All I did was press publish, and they are so, so good. I'm so happy I did it.
You are like, I have chills. There's so many things I want to say about this. Like, first of all, I'm wondering if you were the very first person to ever do that, by the way, like in history.
I think I was.
I think you likely are. So we're sitting with a legend here, folks. Like, what a beautiful way to make lemonade out of lemons. Like, yes. And that's what I've come to love about you is whatever lemons you're handed, you are going to find a way like to make them into lemonade. And I think that's amazing. Yes. Yes. So there's so much, and you and I share this very deeply. There's so much that we can do with the power of our mindset. And no one would have blamed you if you walked into chemo and thought, oh my gosh, woe is me, and like very reasonable thoughts, right? But you just took charge of that fear and you said, I'm going to flip this on its head and I'm going to make this fun. And you did. Yes.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of that there too, which I find that if I say I'm going to do something, and I'm putting myself out there in a public setting, it is a little trick of mine that I don't like to let people down. Yeah. So I know that if I put myself out there and I make a statement or I decide to do this podcast or I'm open about something, that it's my responsibility to stay true to that and be authentic. And for me, that helps me get through lots of things because it's almost like the public being my accountability partner. It's very weird, but it's my choice.
Hey, that works. That works.
Works for me.
Yeah.
For my weird brain.
I just love that. And so tell us like I have never heard of a cancer exercise. I might be saying it wrong. Exercise specialist.
Yeah, you could say, cancer. Yeah.
Okay.
Cancer exercise expert.
Tell us a little bit about that, because I think most people, if they have a diagnosis, they assume like, oh, I don't exercise. I mean, that would be my first instinct. Like, I don't exercise anymore. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, all I knew when I was diagnosed with cancer and was told that I'd have to do this aggressive chemo, the only reference I had was my grandmother who went through chemo and she had mouth sores and was vomiting and she was not exercising. So to me, but I had this job that I needed to keep. I don't get paid time off. It's just me who runs it. So I thought there has to be a way for me to be able to work through this because I really don't want to lose my business.
Yeah.
So I started to just ask some questions about like, what is this going to be like? Will I be able to exercise? And my oncologist did not know that much about cancer exercise, but she handed me a book called Moving Through Cancer. And I read that and it was such a relief to me because the book was all about the importance of exercise during cancer treatment, what happens to your body during cancer treatment and how important it is afterwards. And the examples that she had in the book were people who had moved through cancer. And she gave a whole bunch of different scenarios. And I thought, bingo, if these
That's
people can do
awesome.
it, I'm going to do it. I know it's safe. There's all this research that was just coming out when I was diagnosed about the importance of exercising through treatment and how it can help you with the side effects and reduce your chances of reoccurrence. So I thought, I'm going to be my own guinea pig. I didn't have anybody to guide me through it. But what I did have is such a great mind-body connection from the years that I had spent building my fitness foundation that I knew my body better than anyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the gifts that my consistency had given me before, like that. I truly believe that it happened for a reason so that I could get myself through this hard time. And I'm so grateful that I put the work in ahead of time because it helped me get through this tough time.
Oh, that's so good. I'm writing notes because things you're saying are just like lighting up my brain.
Thanks.
So that's phenomenal. And it's what came to mind for me was, we now know that exercise before pregnancy, during pregnancy is going to help you have a much easier birth experience and postpartum. So that's kind of I heard similar, what you learned in that book, which I'm going to link to that book in the notes because that sounds like a great book for anyone who's going through
a great resource,
similar experience. I love though that you said you had your fitness foundation.
Yeah.
That to me feels like this solid, reliable, consistent, like something you can count on to show up for you. So like, how would you describe your fitness foundation and how can our listeners start to build their own?
Yeah. I think of it like the basement or the foundation of a house. Like if your foundation is cracked, the stuff you build on top of it is going to crumble. So when I'm working with clients and how I think about my fitness foundation is there's always a bottom. The foundation is your bottom. So I have this fitness foundation and everyone should have a level of fitness that they come to where they don't go beneath it. So you can grow from it. Let's say you want to train for a marathon or you want to get into powerlifting or something. Sure. Great. You grow from there, but you never go to the point where you're not doing anything. So you should have some base of
I love that.
exercise that you like that fits into your lifestyle, the whole fit and fitness thing that you could build into your days by habit stacking or making sure that you're well balanced with stretching and mobility, strength training and cardio, but it's not something that feels like it's too much. Yeah. And it's something that you can manage that doesn't feel like something extra on the end of your to-do list that's stressing you out. Because that's if your brain is associating fitness and exercise with stress, it's just going to snowball and you're never going to want to do it and it's never going to work. So you have to figure out what works for you as your minimum. Minimums matter. Like what's your minimum?
Oh, I love that. Minimums matter. That's excellent. And to have a place where mentally, I've never thought of this for myself, but like I don't go below this amount of exercise or fitness. And that's amazing. So tell us, and you are just perfect for a perfect mindset around this for my clients who tend to be very busy, working moms or even stay-at-home moms, sometimes busier, and just overwhelmed. Platters are full, like they're spinning so many plates and we completely forget ourselves in those situations at times, right? And so how does that busy person, you're saying, make it easy, make it simple. Tell us a little bit about like, where would you have someone start? What suggestions would you have to just start?
So I think the 15 minutes is my thing. Like I have a whole library of 15-minute workouts because I truly believe that no matter how busy you are, you have 15 minutes. Because when you think about it, if you go to bed 15 minutes later, it's not going to destroy you. If you get up 15 minutes earlier than you usually do, it's not going to make you exhausted.
Yes.
So I think the number 15 for so many reasons that I can even talk more about the sake of this question. 15 minutes is 15 minutes a day is what you should be aiming for. And if you set your expectation for that, sometimes all of a sudden you realize you have more time. But this 15-minute base is great. I also work with clients who are very busy with the idea of habit stacking. So let's say you make your coffee every morning because every little bit counts. Yeah. Can you put a sticky note on your coffee pot to remind you that this is the time as your coffee is being made that you're going to do 50 squats? So adding exercise, attaching it to things that you always do makes it easier for your brain to remember, and it makes it fit into your day where it doesn't have to be this long thing at the end of your day. Granted, you want to be able to build from that point, but talking about your minimum and making sure you're getting at least something in so you can build from there is important. That is not going to change the number on the scale. That is not going to, that's not going to help your body composition, but you can't work on those things until you're starting from a place where you can grow, where you can build some momentum, because without momentum, you're not going to find the motivation to reach the bigger goals that you have. So we're talking about how you build the momentum.
Yeah. But I do imagine that even those 15 minutes, whether it's like 3 minutes here, 4 minutes there, that will shift your mindset, make you feel more powerful, make different choices with maybe your food, help eliminate stress, alleviate some of the stress. So there's so many benefits to 15 minutes a day. And I love that.
It changes your brain. It changes, because what you want your brain to start to do is to associate exercise with pleasant feelings. So that's like taking the time to think, how do I feel after I did those 50 squats? Do I feel lighter? Do I feel proud of myself? Do I feel more confident? Do I notice any shifts in the way I feel, as opposed to, like, say, a number on the scale? Because if you start there, that number on the scale will change, but the work needs to to be put in for that number on the scale. I'm just using that as an example. Or your body composition. But you have to start from a place where you can build that consistency, or it's never going to stick.
What about 10 squats? Is that a good place to start?
10 squats. You could start with 5.
50 feels like a lot.
I may have scared everyone off. It doesn't have to be 50. How about 5 or 10?
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just stick with that.
We'll build from there. Yeah.
Yes.
You mentioned habit stacking. Can you just give us a couple more ideas around that? Because I think that is profoundly beneficial as a way to make this work for people.
Yeah. So I use the coffee example, but think about the things you do. Like, if you make your kids lunch every morning, can you add 10 lunges right and left after you make their sandwich and put it in the bag? When you're brushing your teeth, can you come into like standing figure 4 and stretch your hips? Can you come up on your toes and work on your calves? So adding movement or exercise to the stuff that you already do that's non-negotiable. You're not going to go to work without brushing your teeth. Right. I mean, hopefully for everyone around you. But there's certain things that you are doing for yourself that you think really matter, and they do matter. Yeah. But you have to be able to add exercise into them. Or if you have to go pick up your kids from school, can you go a little bit early, park your car, and take a walk around the parking lot? So great. Finding ways where you can add it into stuff you already do makes it easier to remember, which allows you to build that consistency to get you where you want to go. Yeah.
I think the time when you're waiting for the shower to warm up. That's
a great example.
Yeah, why just stand there?
Push-ups. Yeah. I have a client who does squats in the shower, as she's washing her hair.
That's
why not?
Why not? Yeah, good idea. Why not? I like it.
So
I like it
safe.
A lot.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I told you guys we were going to have some fun here. So you have this concept of helping women, or you're helping people find their movement in times of life transition, and the idea of finding your fitness second act. Tell us what that means. And I think this is going to land for a lot of listeners.
Yeah. So I remember before, when I was in my 30s, I just had clients who were older, and they always wanted to talk to me about menopause and perimenopause. And so much to the point where I was petrified, because I heard all these R's. That's all anybody wanted to talk about. Now that I am entering the perimenopause, time of my life, I'm starting to feel the little bits of change happening in my body. And I'm really trying hard to embrace it instead of push it away and appreciative of it. I think that as we enter this time of our life, there's going to be changes that do happen in our bodies that may not allow us to get the same feeling or the result from the stuff that we were doing when we were younger. That's just a scientific fact. Whether you're in the greatest shape of your life or the worst shape of your life, it is hard to maintain the stuff you used to do. So what I really love helping women especially do is say okay, just using I'll use a HIIT, like a Tabata as an example. Somebody used to love to go to the gym and like 45 minutes, hardcore, high intensity workout where they were like laying on the floor, exhausted, and that filled their cup and they felt invigorated by that. Well, then you reach a certain age and your body, it's not good for your body anymore when you're talking about cortisol levels and you're talking about working out in that exhausted state. That's not going to do any good for you anymore. And it doesn't feel good. That doesn't mean that you have to say goodbye to HIIT workouts. You can still do HIIT workouts. We need HIIT workouts, but we need to go about it in a different way. So taking the things that you used to do and not being like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I don't feel the same. My body doesn't want to do it. Well, how can we take that experience for you and bring it back in a way that works for your body now? So 2 examples I have right off the bat of like a HIIT class. Maybe your joints are not feeling so great now. Can you do a HIIT workout in a pool? I created a whole brand, an aqua fitness brand based on HIIT in the water because it allows you to get that heart rate up with the joints. The other one is like a sit workout. It's sprint interval training. So what that means is instead of like 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off for a Tabata, that you're working for 45 minutes and completely depleting yourself. Yeah. Women of perimenopause and menopausal age, it works better if you're hitting that sprint, but you're giving yourself a full rest to bring that heart rate down. So you're fully recovering and not having your body under this stress for an extended amount of time. Then you're bringing it back up and then you're letting it come all the way down. So it's a more, I've been teaching this for a while now, and every single person who has taken the class, this format is like, I didn't think I could do that anymore, but it feels good in my body. It feels appropriate. I don't feel depleted, but I feel like extremely challenged. It just feels like it used to feel, but we're doing it in a different way. I love that.
Yeah, so you mean we don't have to just sign up for this menopause thing and like crawl in a hole and die? Like that's the story we're being fed, right? Life is going to suck. You're going to hate it. And
you're going to gain a lot of weight and your body's going to be changing before your eyes. And I'm not saying some of these things may be happening for you. And especially in regards, I just want to mention like my cancer warriors out there. Yeah. My type of cancer, I was hormone negative. So I did not have to take any of the hormone suppressants that usually and my friend Sammy Mansfield used a great analogy. She's like, going through menopause is hard. It feels like you don't know your body, but when it's related to cancer and it's like that it's happening to you like from a medication, it's like you've fallen off a cliff and you can't imagine it. So I'm not saying that that's a very hard thing to go through, but it doesn't have to be the end because there's ways we can work to get strength back, to get the feelings back of what we be able to do, but it just might take a little bit more work and it's not forever. It's just the phase.
Sure. And kind of to regain that trust in your body or that
100%.
Relationship. You said something earlier I wrote down. I knew my body better. When you were going into cancer treatment, you said, I knew my body better than anyone else. Yeah. And I think that is probably one of the best things we get out of a fitness routine is knowing our body. I'll let you, I don't know if you want to say anything else around that, but
if there's no other reason that you can think of to start exercising and getting consistent with your fitness, it is for disease prevention. Because let me tell you that you need to know when something in your body does not feel right. If you are not tuned in and you are not exercising and you don't know what's normal pain and what's something to be concerned about, what's different for you, you run the risk of finding out something that you have too late. Like I knew something wasn't right. Like I to this day, like I think unless it's something that has no symptoms whatsoever, I know my body so well that I'm like, okay, like I have a shoulder pain. I know that's a normal shoulder pain. I'm not going to go to the doctor for it because I've had this before. I have experience with this. Whereas if I didn't exercise and didn't work out, especially being a cancer survivor, I might be like, oh my gosh, I have bone cancer. And I'd be running to the oncologist every second. So it's really important that everybody knows the baseline of their body so that if something goes awry, they are able to get attention to it fast. You need to be able to exercise. Exercise is the way you can make friends with your body. It sounds like brutal because it's not pleasant all the time, but it's a way to develop a relationship. Great relationships are not easy. Any of them. marriage, with your kids.
Right. That's awesome.
Anything
Very
worthwhile
true.
is not pleasant all the time, but it's worthwhile. It's important.
I like, seriously, how many mic drop moments do we have going on today? Like, make friends with your body. I love that so much. And I think a lot of times women are pissed off at their bodies. They're just disgusted, or they're mad, or like the symptom keeps coming. And I try to say, guess what? That's a clue. That's a whisper. It's a signal. That's how our body talks to us, right? We can't get angry at the all of that, but we can try to listen a little bit. And, one thing I think, this is called the Push Pause to Heal podcast for a reason. I try to when we pause on whatever we're doing long enough, we can connect to our body again. Instead of running around in our brain, our thoughts just like monkey, jumping back and forth, never slowing down. We forget there's like the connection gets lost. We forget, we miss the signals that are coming. And I see that for you, fitness and your time with your body that you spend exercising is that reconnection, and can be a great connection for so many people.
Yeah. And exercise does not have to look like intense all the time. Like stretching, breathing, mobility work, that all counts as part of your well-rounded fitness schedule for your week. So that can be restful and restorative. And it doesn't have to look like you're sweating your head off. Yeah. It is about being kind to your body and also listening to your body when you need to pause and you need to rest. Yes. But on the flip side, you have to listen to your body too, because you're doing it a disservice if you're not using it for everything it could be by pushing a little bit. Yes. You have to be able to have a balance.
Yes. So true. I just thought of the analogy of like the acorn is supposed to grow into an oak tree, right? Our bodies, we have this muscles and bones and joints for a reason. We're supposed to use them. We're supposed to push them. We're supposed to, stretch them every day and challenge them. So that's a great point. I really like that. Yeah. Do you, tell us about your work and like how could somebody work with you if they're feeling, like maybe they are in this transition stage of life and they thought, oh, I can't do that anymore. But now they're seeing like, hey, there are ways we can adapt and change. And even in cancer treatment, sometimes still be doing beautiful forms of exercise. So tell us how someone might work with you. I know you have some different programs and opportunities.
Yeah, I work with clients one-on-one, especially those people who have really lost their confidence or just their bodies. They feel betrayed by their bodies and they're just overwhelmed by all the information out there on Instagram, which is a lot. Oh, there's so much. I get overwhelmed. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's exhausting. So for that, I work with clients one-on-one. I have a 12-week program where it's really like say you were my client, Dr. Emily, it would be like you and me against the world. It's like we're really figuring out what works specifically for you, not for me, not for everyone else. So it's a lot of hand holding. I also have a Fit Fun community, which is a group. It's a subscription. I teach 15-minute classes every day, as well as usually most days a 30-minute class, very well rounded. And there's some one-on-one work there. It's a really nice group. So you get the social part of it too, even though it's virtual.
Yes.
And that's awesome too. And that is a way for me to help people in a group setting, and it's fun. And then you have access to my complete on-demand library.
Oh my gosh.
And then I just started in January a group coaching program, which is like an intro, I would say, to my whole method, which kind of gets you comfortable with it. And then after that, for ongoing support, it would be something like the Fit Fun community. And that's a 6-week program. I'm in the middle of it now, and I'm starting a new one in April.
Okay.
And that's just kind of like an intro to the whole fit and fitness method. You have some classes in there too, with a lot of mindset work, because fitness starts up here. Your brain, this is the thing that you have to convince to do it. Your body can do it. Your body wants to do it. You got to convince your brain. And there are a lot of ways, little mindset hacks you can use.
I love it.
To go.
I love it. I think everyone can hear that it would be amazing to have Carly as your support against the world, trying to get you out there, finding the best way
Love it.
to help your body. And I could say, if you need some inspiration, follow her on Instagram, which we will link as well, because every day she's on there doing it's
Crazy
just so
things.
crazy things, impressive things. But you motivate me. I'm like, okay, if she's out in the snow running, I'm going to go out in the snow and get my exercise too. So yeah, that's awesome.
Just to point it out too, like when you work with me, you're getting the real me. Like anyone can tell you I'm as pretty much authentic as you can get, for good or for bad. So like I show up for classes when I'm teaching and I just roll out of bed and my hair looks like a parakeet, and my kids sometimes run through, because it's like, that's real life. Like
that's life.
I'm not lying. Like I struggle too, just like everybody else. So that when you get me, you get the real me.
I can't think of a better way to support people in being, what works for them. So I love that. I think we could all use some support when it comes to the exercise movement part of our lives, and inspiration, if anything else, or ideas or invigoration for what you've been doing. Maybe you've been doing the same thing over and over and it needs a little spicing up. And if you want a guide to show you that perimenopause, it does not have to be bury your head in a hole and give up. That would be Carly. This is a great conversation, Carly. So thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for just your little ray of sunshine is just brightening the world. So do you have any?
Thanks. You're the same. I'm so happy that we became friends. I think everything happens for a reason.
Same. So, any last closing thoughts before we go?
No, just aim to fit in fitness every day, like something every day. Every little bit counts.
Every little bit counts. I love it. Thank you so much, Carly. It's been a pleasure having you on the Push Pause to Heal podcast. I hope to have you back again.
Thanks, Dr. Emily. I love it.
All right. Bye-bye.